Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Menken back here with Splash Sports. Today is June 16th. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there. Little recap on yesterday's performance. We ended up having another winning day, going 2-1. We hit the YRFI and the Tampa Bay Rays and the Atlanta Braves there, and we also hit Kansas City Royals and the Los Angeles Dodgers. NRFI, that one smacked. We ended up losing the Detroit Tigers and the Houston Astros. NRFI, Detroit Tigers absolutely came out swinging in that one. It's okay, still had a winning day, 2-1, and let's get the clean sweep for all those fathers out there. Remember, on this show, all we care about is the first 6 outs of the ball game, plain and simple. A NRFI means no runs first inning, while a YRFI means yes runs first inning. But before I get into those free plays, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel and toggle on that notification. That way, every time I drop another play, you guys will be notified. All right, let's take a look at Sunday, Father's Day. Game number 1. Starting off with the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Baltimore Orioles here. For the Philadelphia Phillies, we got Zach Wheeler on the mound. He's 8-3 with 87.2 innings of work. He does have an ERA sitting at a 2.16, 95 strikeouts. He's averaging a strikeout here per inning and 21 earned runs for Zach Wheeler. He'll be matched up here in Baltimore against Corbin Burns. Their guy 7-2, 86.2 innings of work, an ERA of 2.08, 82 strikeouts, as he is just under a strikeout here per inning and 20 earned runs. Burns is coming off a win in his last start against the Tampa Bay Rays, going 7 innings of work, 5 hits, and no earned runs. Same with Wheeler, getting a win in his last outing against the Red Sox, going 7 innings of work, 3 hits, and 1 earned run. No question, both of these pitchers are great for each team. It's Father's Day today. I could see both of these pitchers absolutely competing against each other, and a special day probably for both of them. That's why in game number 1 between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles, we're smacking the NRFI, no runs first inning. Let's take a look at game number 2 between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Atlanta Braves. Going right back to it, we got Zach Eflin for the Tampa Bay Rays on the mound. He's 3-4 currently this season with 68.2 innings of work. Does have an ERA sitting at a 4.06 here, 50 strikeouts, as he is under a strikeout per inning, and 31 earned runs for Zach Eflin. He'll be matched up here against the Atlanta Braves. Waldrop, he has 1 game started, 3.2 innings of work. That is it. Only 3 innings. ERA sitting at a 17.18 here. 1 strikeout and 17 earned runs. Waldrop had 1 start, and that start was against that Nationals team. He went 3.2 innings of work, 4 hits on 7 earned runs. Eflin has been fighting as well to get a win. You look at his last 4 starts here, hasn't had a win or a loss in his last 4 starts. And his last start came from the Braves. So we'll see what he could do here today with the Braves, Eflin. But, you got Waldrop. I'm thinking that this Tampa Bay Rays, hopefully this lineup could get to him. Clearly doesn't have the experience on the mound. Doesn't have any overpowering stuff. I think this Tampa Bay Rays team absolutely jumps ahead of this Atlanta Braves team in game number 2. That's why between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Atlanta Braves, we were smacking the YRFI yes runs first inning. Let's take a look at our third and final game between the Oakland Athletics and the Minnesota Twins. Here for the Oakland Athletics, we got J.P. Sears. He's 4-5 currently with 78.1 innings of work. He does have an ERA sitting at a 4.02 here, 54 strikeouts and 35 earned runs. He'll be matched up against the Minnesota Twins' Bailey O'Burr, who is 5-4 with 66.2 innings of work. An ERA sitting at a 5.13, 65 strikeouts, just under a strikeout here per inning, and 38 earned runs. You look at what J.P. Sears has done. He hasn't picked up a win or a loss in his last 2 games. His most recent start was against the Padres, going 5 innings of work, 7 hits, and 3 earned runs in that one. Then you look at Bailey O'Burr. Same type of thing here with Bailey O'Burr. Hasn't got a win or a loss in his last 2 outings as well. His last outing came against the Pittsburgh Pirates, going 4.2 innings of work, 7 hits, and 4 earned runs there. This is game 1 of a doubleheader. Both of these pitchers are they found themselves in a little hiccup. And I think this is a good spot for both pitchers. Minnesota especially being a pitcher-friendly ballpark here. With JP Series on the mound, he's a southpaw. I think he's going to fill it up, and this is a good way to get back on track, especially against this Minnesota Twins team who is kind of hitting a little slump. But they could still score early on in the ball game. Have to watch out for that, especially leaving up mistakes high in the zone. But in game number 3 between the Oakland Athletics and the Minnesota Twins, we're smacking the NRFI. No runs first inning. Let's take a recap of the games I've selected for you today. Game number 1 between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles, we're smacking the NRFI. No runs first inning. Game number 2 between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Atlanta Braves, we're smacking the YRFI. Yes, runs first inning. In our third and final game between the Oakland Athletics and the Minnesota Twins, we are smacking the NRFI. No runs first inning. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Nick Menken with Splash Sports. If you have not done so, smack that like button for me. Helps me out a ton and it costs you guys a none. And go follow me on X at Nick Menken to get every single one of my plays. Best of luck and happy Father's Day.